So, if you were to look on my channel, and if you were to check out the playlist, the only playlist that I have up, it's called the soundtrack to my life. I'm a very musically driven person. I say that in the sense that I use music to kind of set my own mood. I also try and use it to help either make me feel better or enhance a mood, I guess. Pretty much like a soundtrack. And there's certain songs that no matter how many years have passed, they'll always kind of hit me in the feels. Whenever I hear them, they'll strike a chord with me that's either, it'll pump me up or it'll give me goosebumps. And there's actually a term for that when you hear something like a song that gives you goosebumps. But there's a few that I want to list, or a few that I want to point out that are especially, I guess, near and dear to me, because they'll never get old. They'll never stop being that effective to me as far as setting my mood or, like I said, striking a chord with me. And I have it pulled up, or I did. Okay. You'll notice that the first song that's on there is a Skrillex song. If you follow electronic music, you'll know that Skrillex is like a brand name. Even if you don't follow electronic music, Skrillex is like a brand household name. But this musician, his name is Evan Duffy, he did a piano cover of a Skrillex song. Now, if you were to listen to Evan Duffy's cover before you heard the Skrillex's original song, you'd think this was just an original piece, or it's a beautiful song by itself. It seems kind of repetitive, but I mean, that's just a staple of what electronic music is. It's kind of repetitive in a sense. Yeah, it's a cover of Skrillex's song called "With You Friends," and Evan Duffy basically just covered the entire song just using piano, and it's just a beautiful piece. And the reason why it's at the top of my list is because it's a perfect example of musical interpretation. Now, some people who don't like electronic music, they think it's kind of just, I guess it's what our generation, or some people's generation, would just call noise. It's not. It doesn't require talent. Anybody with a laptop can do it. But if you take that song, the original song by Skrillex, converted it into a different format, in this case piano, you listen to all the chords, the musical, the chord progression, the way it's been composed, and it's really quite, I guess, complex. Repetitive, yes, but complex in its nature. Like it wasn't already a tune. It was something that literally was kind of like spawned out of nowhere and produced on a laptop or a computer or a program. And getting back to the whole musical interpretation thing, like I said, if you never heard "With You Friends," the original, you would think that the piano piece was just another beautiful song made by some random person. And, if you found out that it was a cover of an electronic music song, you listen to both of them, or, you listen to the cover before you listen to the original, you kind of have these varying opinions. But, I don't want to digress way too far. But my point is, the reason why it's at the top of my list is because music can be whatever you want it to be. It can be something that isn't popular to most people. It's just how you interpret what you hear. And like I said, I think it's a perfect example of, two different genres, or I guess two different interpretations of one thing. And, some people could find it beautiful, some people won't. But anyway, that's why it's at the top of my list. The other song, it's gonna be BTS, So Far Away. And the reason why that's there is because I'm still kind of in this phase where I've been listening to Korean pop music or K-pop. Judge me, whatever. I like music. The reason why this one is on the list is because, like I said, music can be whatever you want it to be. The song itself just sounds beautiful. Even at first, I didn't understand what the lyrics meant or what the lyrics were, what the translation was. I just knew that it was something beautiful. But then when I found out what the translation was, what the lyrics were saying, it made it even more so. I don't want to get too far into it, but you'll just have to listen to yourself as far as finding out what that song is about. But it's just a beautiful piece that it kind of hits you in the feels, I guess. And there's that. And I mean, like I said, music transcends language. You don't have to understand what's going on to know that something sounds beautiful. And that's what's awesome about music. That's what I love about music. The next song, let's see if I can find it here. There's so many that I added. The song Easy it wasn't originally by her, but her cover of it, Sky Ferreira's cover of Easy. I never knew too much about the original song. I don't even know who played the original song, but when I heard this song, it's one of those songs that just mellows you out. It's just something easy to listen to, and sometimes whenever I feel kind of like wound up, I'll listen to that song. I'll just put it on just because it's a down-tempo kind of song. It's very relaxing to me. Just another it's just another song that brings you down from kind of wherever you're at. Moving on, kind of bouncing around on this playlist. This was probably my last one, but the song Glorious by Macklemore, featuring Skylar Grey. That song is always going to be kind of like my pick-me-up song. No matter how bad I'm feeling or how demotivated I'm feeling, for some odd reason, whenever I hear that song, especially the hook, it always seems to kind of lift my spirits up. It gives me goosebumps. I'm not gonna lie, it does give me goosebumps. And I think it's because of the lyrics behind it, and if you haven't heard it, at least take a chance to listen to it, and like the meaning, or not the meaning, but the lyrics behind it, it's a great song altogether. I love Macklemore. I love his style of rap. Skylar Grey has a beautiful voice. And going along with my musical choices, I tend to steer, I guess, towards female vocals, but I do like more, I guess, songs that have a good beat to it. I've gone through this phase. Well, I'm still in it, but I do kind of try and vary things. But I'm in this phase where I'm in it for the beats. If a song can make you feel something and it doesn't have words, I think that's great. I think it's a very powerful kind of emotion. It's a very powerful kind of thing to kind of acknowledge, you know what I mean? It's somebody composed something and it's making you feel a certain type of way, and there's no voices involved. It's just an instrumental. It's kind of like listening to an orchestra. I mean, obviously there's more involved in an orchestra, but I think I get that same effect as well through electronic music. Kind of locked into that genre right now. And if you haven't really listened to electronic music, don't be stuck on the notion that it's just straight club music. While that is a big portion of it, that's what kind of, I guess, where people kind of started off at, or where people started seeing it from. There's a lot of electronic music out there that's done by people no one even knows exist. They mainly post things on places like SoundCloud or YouTube, and these are artists. They literally took sounds from their computer and composed something out of seemingly nothing. They layered sounds together. They mixed things. They put these things together to make a song, and if it makes somebody feel a certain type of way, I think that's a very special talent. And that's what I love about the modern age, is that anybody who has the talent and now has more access to the means to I guess express that talent. People who didn't think that they could produce music now have easier access to it, and it's an easier way for them to put themselves out there, to expose themselves to the world. It kind of sucks that sometimes they get unnoticed because everybody else is moving on to the big names that everybody already knows. I mean, I'm not claiming to say that I know all of, I go to underground music or anything like that. I don't look for underground music actively or anything like that. What I'm trying to get at is that the musical community, I guess, as a whole, when it comes to electronic music, I feel like has a lot of undiscovered talent out there. And what I love about it is that it's now easier for them to put themselves out there. It doesn't have to necessarily be about, who you know. It's just getting yourself out there and trying, and I love that. Anyway, I've completely digressed off of my original point, but I guess my main topic of this recording was music to me is important because there's music everywhere, not just through the radio. You can play music anywhere, you can make music anywhere. It doesn't have to be what popular culture makes it out to be. Just because you hear it on the radio doesn't necessarily mean that's the only style of music that's out there. And I've always tried to vary my tastes. I mean, yes, I am locked into electronic music. I guess that's my favorite, but I try and find other genres of music to kind of delve into. I do like finding indie producers or indie artists, I guess you could say. But pretty much what I listen to now is mainly electronic music. But the reason why I wanted to point you out to these songs is because if you're trying to find something new, or if you're just kind of, if you hadn't really discovered anything, you might want to try out this genre, because for me, it's been with me for years now. I've listened to a lot of tracks, and one thing that people know about me is that when I hear a song, 9 times out of 10, I'm going to try and find a remix for it. And some people find that annoying, but to me, I think, and this is a quote that somebody told me, and they said, life is too short to listen to only the originals. And this is another thing that I love about producing nowadays, is that you have all this talent that can take one song that's already been out there, and it's great on its own, and then they'll put their spin on it And I mean, granted, it's not really original, but it kind of is. It's an original twist. That's what I would call it. It's an original twist on something that's been done already, and it's fun to see. I like listening to remixes and how people could interpret other songs to turn it into almost a different genre. You have all these kind of like crossover kind of genres going on where, you'll have, for instance, like a Spanish song, and then someone will take it and, remix it and turn it into like a hip hop song. And it's just that kind of creativity that involves listening to a song and seeing how they could make it kind of their own. But I mean, granted, there are bad remixes out there, but it's objective. Some people love it, some people don't. But I feel like it's important to, like I said, just keep an open mind about music as well. Not everything is everyone's cup of tea. Just look for songs. Like, you're gonna find something out there that you like, that you didn't know you liked, and maybe you didn't even know existed. You just have to kind of, I guess, open your ears to find it. And I don't know, I just my train of thought is kind of getting stuck right now, but I guess I'm gonna go back to my main point. The music that I have on my soundtrack, on the soundtrack to my life, those are the songs that I would definitely, if I had to pick, if it was kind of like that movie Stranger Than Fiction, and I could hear like a narrator or something, those songs would probably play in the background. And I live with my headphones in my ears, and I walk around with my headphones all the time. And some of those songs on my playlist are just naturally on repeat. I'll continue to add more songs to that playlist as I find more songs to put on there, / remember the songs that I already know and love, and I'll put them on there too. But yeah, go check it out. You might find something you enjoy that you hadn't heard before, and that's what I'm about. I'm about kind of not, I don't want to say like I'm opening your mind or opening your eyes to something new, but hey, if it points you in a different direction that you didn't know that you wanted to travel before, but yet you're willing to try, hey, cool, that's awesome. Anyway, I hope you didn't fall asleep or get annoyed by my rambling, but until next time.